already.
All right, let's show those fun guys on camera, and it's gonna be LD and Merlini. Off you go.
This guy, he is really a wet towel tonight, isn't he? It's okay, Merlini. We've brought in the excitement. We've brought in the loud voices, the happy people.
Woo!
Welcome to the desk.
Get excited.
Of fun, pleasure, and fantastic.
What are your
Dota.
predictions, LD?
Hell yeah!
High
Dota!
five!
Dota! Let's go. Navi versus Rattlesnake. Best of 3. Game 1. The
Predictions.
draft's about to be underway, but predictions.
Before we go into the draft. I say 2-0 Navi. They started off 1-7 in the Alienware Cup, and they are not happy about it. Not many people are, but I think they have something to prove. They've gotten over their jet lag, which only whiny babies cry about, and they are ready to roll Rattlesnake. What about you?
2-0, Navi. Let's go.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Could be taken out of context. The draft now underway. It's pretty early into the bans and the picks, but it gives us time to talk a lot about these two teams, Merlini, and Wisp has been left through, and
So
this is generally worked out very poorly. And when an Asian team gives a Western team the Wisp, normally this has been a recipe for a quick loss.
Hello, free rares. Why don't you tell me a little about Rattlesnake's performance in Group A, since I was not here for that?
They did decently. They traded with LGD China, who was not in top form. I think every match, I believe they had 2 ties and then 1 2-0 and 1 0-2. I could be wrong about that, but or though 2-0 may have been, I think it was a forfeit win over LGDN. But Rattlesnake, a pretty solid team. They generally don't pick a whole lot of late game. They prefer to just pick aggressive lineups so they can find a lot of kills early. They love their dual lane. Darkseer, Clockwork. Occasionally we'll see a Doom pick out of them. Sometimes Queen of Pain mid. If they go for a carry, it's a high impact early to mid game carry like a Gyro. Sure, he can scale well, but someone who can get involved in the fights early. And they've gone for Earthshaker and Jakiro. Long range, incredibly powerful in a tri-lane. Not good roamers, however. And it looks to me like they want to be pretty aggressive here.
Right, and already we see a change in the draft from the Eastern teams that we saw before. No Alchemist first pick, no Shadow Demon, no defensive triple laners, but regardless, I think it's going to be an exciting game already with this draft. EO usually guarantees a lot of excitement, especially when in the hands of a Western team, and they definitely played it a little bit different than Zenith. Zenith, I think, one of the few teams to experiment with Wisp, but it is not what we typically see. So Navi traditionally plays it like the super aggressive Wisps.
And Navi, they've gone for the early IO. They get the Darkseer now. It really shores up their lanes a lot. This means that you have a solo who can win most 1v1 matchups. Generally, when you give away Wisp, you want to contest that Wisp. And if you pick a solo like Darkseer, who does very well 1v1, then Rattlesnake are somewhat caught between a rock and a hard place. Either they give the Darkseer a really good start and he comes and bails out the tri-lane with an early mech, or they try and start down the Darkseer, which means the Wisp gets a fast level 6, gets out of control pretty quickly. That's the theory behind these picks as far as I can see, and I think it's a really strong pairing.
Funnick has a really fantastic Darkseer too. I don't see him lose that lane very often, but they are going to ban one of the few heroes that can't actually beat a Darkseer in a 1v1 matchup, and that is the Weaver. And I don't think there are too many other heroes that pair very well versus Darkseer. There's still a Clockwork available. There's still a safe lane farmer such as Gyrocopter, or I guess I've seen Luna a couple of times. There is a Lone Druid too, but none of these are that great versus Darkseer. Rattlesnake will have a Kunkka as well, so they have they by far the better team fight right now. So much AoE on their lineup.
Yeah, a lot of AoE. Also here that can catch Wisp. If she tries to tether away and escape, you X her, you pull her back in. Same for Darkseer too. I like this pick a lot. Also gives them a very strong hero who could be in a part of a tri-lane. Can go mid and do pretty well. It allows them to group as 5 early, and that's key for Rattlesnake. You've given away a Wisp. You do not want to be trying to split push when your supports are as immobile and clunky as Earthshaker Jakiro. Very weak defensively to relocate ganks because Fissure, sure, it's got that turn animation buff on the hero, but still has a decent cast animation windup, can easily be punished. CK is actually in the pool. I wonder what combo hero Navi has in mind for this IO. CK's been the go-to hero, but there's so much AoE, those illusions might not be very effective. Maybe you go for something different here. Yeah,
what they need right now is a combo breaker, and usually you can have it with any sort of magic immune hero, whether it's a BKB or a Juggernaut or a Life Stealer, but those two heroes haven't banned out. I would love to see them pick up a Tidehunter right now. Tidehunter kind of fell off the map just because of Life Stealer. Life Stealer just destroys that hero, but they really need something to counter-initiate if they start off with an X marks a spot into a torrent and then Fissure, Ice Path, Dual Breath, Global Silence, Macro Pyre, all of those are just going to destroy them unless they get their BKBs. So Navi will pick up a safe pick, safe carry, Gyrocopter, natural BKB hero, tons of AoE, great team fight, and great all game.
I'm very curious how Rattlesnake plan to lane this. They've now gone back for a silencer. With the Earthshaker and Jakiro already selected, dare I say it, this may be a solo mid silencer. I know you're a big fan of that. It would most likely be a 1v1 versus Puck, and that's a matchup silencer can really dominate.
Yeah, I am a little bit scared for him, though. I think he is quite vulnerable to Wisp ganks, though, unless they're really, really good about paying attention about the map and using their global or Earthshaker being there to react to these ganks, or even Jakiro or Kunkka. I think that he is quite liable to feed against whatever they pair with the Wisp, and that is the real big question right now, if they're actually going to pick another hero to combo with it, whether it be an Ursa or something like that, or just going to stick with EO and Gyrocopter.
Traditionally, Rattlesnake has often favored dual lanes. I wonder if they could go for them this game. They could run Jakiro, Kunkka safe lane, and that's actually enough lockdown to make life a bit difficult for Darkseer. You do have to farm with the melee hero. Not really ideal. And then in the off lane, they're on the Dire side. They can do those fissure blocking shenanigans, pull the creeps to the Ancients. We've seen quite a few teams from Asia doing that lately. And then maybe run the mid silencer. Perhaps something, I was going to say an offlane Weaver, but Weaver's banned, but some sort of tanky offlaner. Actually not sure who's left at this point if they want to go that route, but I feel their draft's a little awkward just because these heroes are not particularly mobile. They need level 6 on Kunkka and Silencer. Rattlesnake really have to have a good laning stage, but I feel just because of how elusive Navi's lineup is with Tether, Surge, and the Puck, it's actually going to be pretty difficult to find kills.
Yeah, I think they could also do well with a Tinker, actually. I think he works pretty well against their lineup, and Martian Machines just destroys most of the thing. I think it's like a pretty safe pick, and they can get Earthshaker to babysit with them, but I actually don't expect them to pick it up. But I think it would work quite well.
And can farm the Ancients, so if Earthshaker's pulling the creeps there, stacking the Ancients periodically, you might be able to get greedy with an offlane Tinker. Maybe it's something they'd go for. Of course, Tinker is rather vulnerable to Wisp ganks until he gets his Blink Dagger, and that takes quite a bit of gold to farm.
They do have a lot of anti-Wisp, though. If they gank Tinker, they have Earthshaker to follow up, Jakiro, Kunkka. All these are good at taking out heroes that are clumped up if you bring the fight to you. And also, Silencer is also a great, great combo breaker. So, still awaiting the last pick from Rattlesnake is actually going to be a Treant Protector, so the tanky pick that LD was talking about.
This could be a 4 support lineup, just in terms of they have 4 heroes who can play support. They don't have many who scale incredibly well. Silencer can to some extent if he's stealing a lot of intelligence. And this Treant Protector, you get Treant Protector generally. I guess the living armor is nice versus relocate ganks.
Yeah,
but I feel when you give away Wisp, you shouldn't be planning on letting them get relocate early. You should be planning on denying that.
I would prefer aggressive hero. I don't really like Treant Protector here. His living armor isn't actually going to be that useful. They have Flak, they have Rocket Barrage, they have Darkseer, Ion Shell procs, as well as the Spirit from the EO. There's only 4 of their heroes right now. And last pick to round out their lineup will be the Chen.
This is pretty much your classic Navi draft for their current roster. Whereas for Rattlesnake, this is a rather curious beast. We'll have to try and discover its mysteries over the course of this game. It's game 1 of a best of 3. Rattlesnake versus Navi. Here we go. Luo going to be playing the Silencer. He has been pulled, starting with the Null Talisman. It looks like it will be a farming Silencer. Lamb going to be taking up the reins of the Kunkka. Early Bracer for him. He's also been pulled. Kabu, handling your Jakiro, not on his signature Clockwork. Sagam or Neo, Luminous mentioned, legendary Earthshaker from the good old days. Can he be a legendary player here? He'll need to be, because Rattlesnake have concocted a bit of an unusual draft, to say the least. Last, but certainly not least, it will be Icy, handling your Treant Protector. And on the side of Navi, they've traveled to China. They went 1-7 in the group stages, but they get a clean slate now. Let's see if they can get off to a good start. Lamb is going to find Havost. Could be our first blood. There's no Fissure. There's no Ice Path or Torrent attempted. Not even going to make it go. They're worried about some sort of counter initiation. So we'll introduce Navi. Havost playing the Gyrocopter, rushing the Tranquil Boots. Kuroki on the Wisp. We do have Dendi, Oppa Dendi on your Puck. He's pulled. He's going mid. Funnick, offlane Darkseer, and then last but not least, Puppy on his signature Chen with a smoke picked up. Pretty much the most standard possible lineup that Navi could have picked. And I do want to reiterate, they got Wisp, and the win rate for Eastern teams when they give away Wisp against Western teams is quite poor. It's a small sample size, but the results have not been encouraging. And
I'm not in the game.
Merlini trying to reconnect to the game. We will see a Sentry Ward was placed at the Magic Bush earlier. Navi probably going to deward this soon. I don't know if they saw it. Actually, a rocket barrage on Neo. Drops the fissure. No, gets tether stun. Can't get it off. Very vulnerable to that. Now the ice path comes through. He looks to run away. Dropping low. Living armor is deployed. Keeps him safe. And they'll back off, but it's too late. From long range, Kuroki, the killing blow was administered. First blood to Navi. Wisp tri-lane. And they've already gotten it. My goodness, that is a horrendous way for Rattlesnake to start this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Living Armor didn't come up earlier, but again, doesn't do too much versus Flat Cannon. I like that Navi is doing something that they're very, very comfortable with. Dendi mid on the Puck, and Funnick offlane on the Darkseer, Wisp and Puppy on the Chen. This is something that they're very comfortable with. I think they tried to experiment with Havos on a support role, and that just did not work out well for them.
I'm really surprised Lamb didn't start with a Stout Shield. He actually started with a Bracer, and against Puck, I feel it's a bit of a pea shooter, but if you have the Stout Shield, it really mitigates that damage. So, not sure about this item build, but he does have Living Armor on his side. That will somewhat make up for it.
That was a nice play from Havos there. As he tether stunned the Earthshaker, he went around to the backside of him, so he did not get fissure stunned.
Oh, you mean for the first blood?
Yeah, for the first blood. It was a nice movement by him.
And that is what I was trying to touch on briefly in the draft, is Twin-Headed Dragon and Earthshaker have pretty big windups for their stuns, and that's why I was saying they're not really the best supports versus Wisp, because if she can get the tether stun off more or less instantly, and there's not a whole lot they can do to cast those spells in time if they get caught out. Kabu, Tango in his way, forced to retreat from this bottom lane. And top lane is going to be fun at creep skipping, not getting anywhere near Icy. So they are running a farming Treant Protector. I think this is a first for me anyway. Whenever we've seen Treant, it's always a sort of a jungler. When Goblak's playing it, he'll do some pulls here and there, but is not getting farm priority. It will mean very early levels into Living Armor, and it should be maxed by like the 6-7 minute mark. What can they make happen with it? That's the big question. So far, not really accomplishing too much. Kunkka only 7-2 mid, not killing Dendi, not dominating him. In fact, the CS there, Dendi's winning. He's 7-3. We'll see a Haste Rune bottled up by Funnick. And then to your tri-lane, off the bat, Silencer CSing a bit better than the Gyro, but it's very close, and they did get first blood here.
Sorry, I'm having some issues with my scrolling speed.
Well, once you get that sorted out, we'll continue talking. In the meantime, the Magic Bush Sentry is still here, and it's just out of D-Ward range, I believe. Navi haven't spotted this. It has slowed down Puppy a bit. It's also slowed down this Wisp level progression. So that ward is actually doing a lot to help keep Rattlesnake from falling too far behind. Dendi, really aggressive mid. Posting up, takes a huge Tideburner to the face. Lamb, he's gone for 2 points of Tideburner. Your standard build so far. I'm curious to see when we'll get to. Oh, top lane, Icy's in trouble. Iron Shell, Funnick's trying to burn him down. He's got Surge in 2 seconds. Icy on the run. He's got fresh Living Armor. It really does not do much in this situation. Puppy, dry tri-lane back. It's just such a passive tri-lane for Rattlesnake, and I feel when you're up against a Wisp and a Chen as well, you want a more aggressive one. They're even going to use an Ice Path just to try and bring this creep down, but Puppy tries to find a solo kill, gets Fissure blocked away, but maybe he's on the right side, it's Rattlesnake on the wrong side. In comes Havos, dropping the Rocket Barrage. The nukes are there, the Flax as well. One last auto attack or an orb would have done it, but Kuroki can't find it.
That was so close. He almost got the tether stun off, and that would almost guaranteed a kill on the Silencer. But
where's the Living Armor? It just has not really.
He has to use it on himself the whole time. He's a full level behind Funnick right now, and Funnick is putting constant pressure up on him.
And he's not farming particularly well. In fact, he might go down here. No points in Nature's, guys. Actually, he does have one now. He'll be able to escape. I'm just so used to them not having it. I started to say
Funnick!
Before even looking, he might find the kill. Icy's dropping low.
Goodness.
Icy blocked him for a second. I don't know if Funnick realized it. Now he's on the run. By the way, their entire tri-lane went back to the fountain. So that is a further disaster. Navi are already cruising.
Yeah, Silencer is not the best offlane
2K
hero.
experience lead.
Wow,
and they're going to abandon it.
They're going top.
This is so bad for Rattlesnake. It was such a weird tri-lane. I mean, we even said we're not very sure about this draft by Rattlesnake. Normally, I try to reserve judgment unless it's horribly one-sided, but this is not looking good right now for Rattlesnake. What do they do to sort of get back in this game? Do they have a plan B?
I think they can try and kill Dendi in middle, but we see a smoke from Puppy. He is rotating top. They're wondering where everyone is bottom. They've been gone for too long. If they went to go heal and wanted to go back bottom, they would have already shown up by now. So Navi knows that something is up, and they're rotating around the map to try and kill Kunkka in middle.
There's your Dendi Invis Rune. He'll pop in now. He drops the orb. He doesn't have enough follow-up yet. Lamb getting body blocked a bit by Puppy. He's been isolated, but with Living Armor, he feels he can take this fight. He might be wrong. Clapped back in, and slapped down by the Hellbear Smasher. He will fall. And for Navi, even finding a kill occasionally is such a big deal for them. They just need to get through this laning stage. Their mid game is insane. And Rattlesnake, a lineup that needs level 6. Silencer needs global, only level 3 at 5 minutes in as a farmer. That's not good for them. Icy is level 5, but it's a Treant protector. What do you do with this?
I mean, I think they need to try and shut down Gyrocopter before he gets BKB. They also need to limit Wisp level. He's at 3 3/4 right now. If he gets level 6, things are going to look really awful for them.
That's definitely the logical thing to say, Merlini, but my question is how? Like, with these heroes, I don't actually know how you do that.
I mean, they could just try and... I don't know. Wisp is, Tree is not the best rotator, and Funnick is putting a lot of pressure on Kabu.
He's going to find a solo kill here on Kabu. He's got a Surge online. And despite the last word silence coming through, Kabu will fall. Living armor useless against the Starks here.
He might die for Luo, though.
He might fall here. Last word is cooling down for 17 seconds. Funnick on the run, the stout shield, keeping him in fighting shape. He jukes. The Nikes on this guy. Barry Sanders, a.k.a. Funnick, hiding in the trees. Luo still getting his ankles broken. Around the trees he go. Rain around the rosy. He wants to come back in. The Tranquil Brutes have been dispelled. Luo, at long last, I think he might have done it. He will get the kill. But Funnick really made him work for it. You're going to have to grind this one out, he says. In the end, he does get the kill.
Gotta steal that intel. I actually do not like Silencer's build either. He went 2 points in Glaives of Wisdom as a support Silencer. That almost does no damage. He has 47 int right now. 15% is
He was actually the farmer in that tri-lane.
I mean, their tri-lane was so weak, though. Sure, he's going to get some farm, but... I mean, he's going to be not very useful considering how this early game has went for him.
Right. He didn't have a good enough start. The other issue with Silencer is if you want to run him as a carry, you have to find some kills because he's just not a flash farmer. And unfortunately, he's not finding them right now. Dendy orbs away from the mid lane. We will have Kuroki driving Icy back. He does have access to Nature's Guise. He's still on the run. Havos gives chase, has a call down. Could look to drop it now. The tether stun's there. Boy, he moves fast. And Icy unable to escape. The Hellfire rains down. He'll bite the dust. And this is just looking better and better for Navi.
Phase boots plus tether. He is moving so
Smoking fast.
Wow, ridiculous. But it was nice move by him to phase through the Treant Protector to secure that stun. They really... Ooh, on middle. Dendy, nice dodge there. Anyways, he really needs to be able to get that tether stun just to pick up easy kills. We saw him miss an earlier kill on Silencer, and as long as...
Coil.
Oh, there's a coil on mid.
Coil and Lamb, they want to make a go. Dendy's got the orb, the silence to start. Now the orb to get away. A well-executed kill, and now he'll go and wait for the 8-minute
So close
run.
to having Fissure mana on the Earthshaker. I think he was sitting at like 122 mana when the Kunga went down. A little bit unfortunate for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this Rattlesnake draft right now. And I think the big thing for me was running Treant as a farmer as well in a lane. Because you have to spam living armor against Darkseid. That's just a bad matchup. We'll pop his ult on Havos, but he's just going to die to a cooldown perhaps. One more auto attack. There's your phase boots. Havos finds a solo kill. Living armor useless. Overgrowth useless. Does absolutely no damage. And top lane will have a big engagement. Dendy's drove in for this. No Dream Coil. Orbs forward. Trying to get away. He cannot phase shift out and he might fall. Funnick surged himself. Not Dendy. Might cost Dendy his life. He goes inside the tree line. He TPs out. Will there be a blind turret? There will. But I think it's just a split second too late. It was completely the wrong direction anyway. Funnick trapped. Fissure available. Neo will throw it, but it's not that perfect fissure they needed. Funnick able to scoot out of there. And Navi are forcing 3-4 heroes to rotate, using only 2 or 3. While that's happening, Puppy's pushing mid, Wisp is farming bottom, and Havost is getting close to his BKB. Ogre Club already picked up.
And here I might actually prefer Mushi's Kunga build, which was a 1-2-2 build. So at level 5, he has 2 levels of X. I think if they had an X on Dendy there into a Torrent or an X on the Darkseer there, they would have definitely secured the kill. Sure, Tidebringer is better for laning and for farming, but they really need some kills right now.
And the pressure mounts bottom lane. You know you're ahead when Kuroki is just sitting here calmly against this much AoE and long-range initiation. In fact, he's going in. Dendy's coming from the backside, drops the ult, and now the call down rains through. Kabu, he might fall here. Dropping fairly low. Havost has fortunately been kept away. Oh, nicely placed fissure will allow them to survive for the time being. But they are being driven back by 2 or 3 heroes with their entire team basically mounting a defense. Dendy, he might go back in. Kuroki's overextended perhaps. Dropping low, not dead yet. Funnick joins the fight. Doesn't have the mech just yet, but he surges forward. Dendy over the top. Orb is there. Finds the kill, and now the dive onto Neo. In comes the Kunkka boat. It really accomplishes nothing, just trying to keep Lamb alive. For the time being, Icy Tries to duke his way out. Cannot really make anything happen. So many heroes for Rattlesnake that just can't do any damage. And now Luo likely to fall. Lamb as well. Navi just stomping their way through Rattlesnake. This is starting to feel like a pub game, and it is one. At least Rattlesnake will GG out at the standard timing for a pub team. 12 to 1 minutes in. Well, they got thrashed.
Please ban Wisp.
That was just an outdraft as well. I mean, not only did they give away Wisp, but I did not like that lineup whatsoever from Rattlesnake. Such passive supports, tri-lane silencer, safe lane tree against Darkseer. I mean, come on. You cannot win those lanes.
Dock them points. We need some real-time updates on these hexagons, by the way.
Let's get the Bruno hexagons. We'll give him the keys to the castle. We'll let him start updating some of these. It'll keep him stimulated as well.
That was just an ugly, ugly game.
Oh, jeez. I feel like nauseous just having watched that.
I feel like that. I mean,
icky.
A lot of these are pretty
feeling.
common picks. Everything's pretty common except for the Wisp pick. And again, they didn't really win mid. They didn't win their safe lane by any means. And they just got dominated by Navi's more flexible draft. I like the Wisp pick, and I like the Darkseer pick. And the bans that they had, they didn't really have any particularly good heroes versus Darkseer. And Funnick just kind of rolled top lane. And because Treant was forced to living armor himself all the time, they kind of lost the other lanes that they probably thought they could have living armor for.
Yeah, I really liked the fact that they got Wisp, and then they went back for such a strong laner like Darkseer, because, as I mentioned in the draft, it just puts Rattlesnake in that bind. Who do you focus on? Do you shut down the Darkseer, or do you try and pressure the Wisp? You can't do both, and we saw they tried to focus on the
They couldn't do either.
Yeah, they couldn't do either. Giving up a first blood did not help matters one bit. That was such a beatdown that I feel we should just throw it over the analyst. Bruno, Lumi, what the hell just happened to Rattlesnake?
Again, that I want to compare to again, that I want to compare to the games we casted before. Pretty much the same intensity, the same dynamics, the same length, right? You don't have a mic. Okay, I'm talking for yourself. Things that happen. Mics. Anyways, I can't even say that Navi played superiorly better than Rattlesnake. I can't really say that Rattlesnake threw the game. 10 minutes.
No, you can say they do the game.
I think they had an idea and they failed entirely to execute from the first moment. I think they let Navi play the things that they're very, very comfortable with.
So, can I just get my flamethrower out about Treant
go
Protector?
ahead.
Treant Protector is one of those heroes that when you're not using living armor, he's worse than a melee creep.
He hits harder than a melee creep.
He actually is worse than a melee creep. The reason we see support treants play more frequently is when you're doing all the pulls, you have more time to look all over the map for your allies to actually living armor. How many times have we seen people diving and living armor was not available? Guess what? He was healing himself with it. And you don't heal yourself with that living armor if you're pulling.
Right. I just can't. I don't feel I can pinpoint someone in particular or something. I mean, it's easy to point finger to the off lane tree. It's easy to point fingers to the silencer, trying to see what he could do, whether the mid lane was going okay against the pack. I just feel they weren't there. They were trying something that in their mind it made sense, but Navi is not a team that you can win just by trying new things. You have to try something and be like Zenith, that you have something different, but you have a goal, you have a way to execute. I just didn't feel Rattlesnake had any power of execution. I'm going to go with the Flames here. If they had to play Quantic tomorrow for TI3 like this, they would lose 3-0.
Well, to be fair for Rattlesnake's lineup, I think they were like, okay, we have these heroes. When we get to level 6, we're going to be bonkers. But from 1 to 5, they couldn't fill in. It's like, how are we going to get there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because when you have a level 6 tree and you get it quick, that's pretty
Right.
OP. Light Silencer, once you get 6, especially against a hero like Wisp, that's pretty...
When you get Conca level 6.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, the thing
Just
is...
how do you get there? And at what cost?
So what you're saying is they had a bad draft. Because in their drafting ideas, they didn't consider the fact that they had to get to level 6 in order to make something about the game.
Yes. How do you get to level 6?
How do you get to level 6? Try to kill the enemy heroes, don't die yourself, and try to last hit creeps. That's a good way to get a level 6.
And that's why they GG out in 10 minutes.
And that's why they GG'd out in 10 minutes. I think that was a fluke, though. I think that Rattlesnake will not do that again. I think they will go to their traditional
I
Doom.
think they will do it again, but with different sets of heroes.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't seen them. You haven't casted them. These guys run bristleback off lanes.
Yes.
They run Doom jungles. It was brilliant when it worked.
Brilliant.
The one game it worked, and then it wasn't brilliant anymore.
Anyway.
I used to be the biggest fan of this team until I keep cheering for them, and they keep losing.
Yeah, it's a bit sad when that
Yeah.
happens. But I mean, to be fair, dddota used to be like that at the beginning, and then suddenly very quickly became very solid with their picks. It's kind of like an exploratory phase, something of trying new stuff. Maybe Rattlesnake will get into that position eventually. Right now, they don't look very convincing. They did get a few games in the group stage. Does any one of you remember who they won against in the group stage? At least one game they won.
They were 1-1 versus LGD China. I think they were 1-1 versus MUFC. You weren't here,
I wasn't
actually. Lumi was casting those games. He should know.
No, yeah, they won one against LG China.
Yeah, they went 1-1 with two
On
teams.
day one, I believe.
They had a 2-0 forfeit over LGD IT, and then I think they got 2-0'd by, was it DK? Whoever the other team was.
Yeah, it was DK in Group A.
So yeah, they had one game off of LGD China. I think that was the big thing. They did not pick a draft like this, though. I mean,
That's a previous level draft right there.
that draft was so bad that I don't know what to say. Like I would say 322, but I think it's too soon.
So for the next game, I think what they need to do is, firstly, they just need to ban Wisp. Just that's just a safe thing to do versus Navi. I mean,
unless they
have
want
two
to pick
bans.
it, which I mean, Rattlesnake's a little bit unconventional.
They need to not give Navi Wisp. I think that's the first step
Yeah.
to victory. Other than that, I think they just need to draft better overall.
And I think they will. It was an experimental game for them. They don't get knocked out if they lose this series, but that was a little too experimental.
I think it's better to do it in the second game. Like if you're already up a game, sure you can try new stuff out because the next game isn't terribly important. But to start off that poorly in the first game, that's totally demoralizing as a team. And I'm surprised that Rattlesnake went out on a limb like that. But hopefully they'll go back to something safer, something better, and put up more of a fight.
On the bright side, this puts us back on schedule.
Yeah, that's a good thing. In any case, you talked about offlane Bristleback. They did offlane Bristleback.
Yeah,
They did Jungle Doom.
yeah.
Will they do Mid Bloodseeker maybe? Is that within the realm of possibility?
It is within the realm of possibility. I don't think these Chinese have discovered this hero called Bloodseeker yet, but maybe.
I think they could. I think they could use it.
It's too bloody. There you go.
To bloody, yeah. The Oil Seeker.
Yeah. Oil Seeker, is that what they call him? Because he does actually chase oil around you.
It's kind of black.
Yeah.
The Rapture. Yeah, the Oil Seeker. It's
I just want to point out a little history lesson for you all that nothing is better than the M5 Minute 5 GG. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that.
That was in the Beyond the Summit World Tour. They GG'd at 5 minutes. That is the fastest GG I've ever seen. Rattlesnake, you're not even close to PGG's level yet. They need more vodka. But with that being said, guys, Game 2 should be coming up soon, so I think we'll take a quick break and come back for that.
That
Okay.
sounds okay.
Excellent.
Yeah? Just want to make sure we didn't have anything else to talk about with the
No more flames here.
No more flames here.
Put your flamethrower down, Lumi. Guys, we'll be right back. Rattlesnake versus Navi, game number 2, coming up after these messages.